I will spare the pleasantries now, especially with a title as worrying as this. For a short answer/statement, no, the Law by Night podcast and its sister podcast, Law by Night Productions, is not going anywhere. At least not from YouTube. It will soon, however, not be available anywhere else. The Law by Night podcast has always been focused on accessibility. The law presented, character creations assembled, and reviews composed have always been for fans of all experience levels from across the world. The law and sheer volume of books are daunting, yes, but I have seen few within the community dissuaded totally by the franchise on the number of books available to the fans. However, not everyone has the time or money to purchase and read all these books, or, at the very least, enough to get a concept of their chosen clan/bloodline, sect, or cult, or whatever. English is not everyone's first language either, and the printing on the print-on-demand copies from Drive-Thru-RPG is consistently inconsistent. Some fans are also visually impaired and/or have dyslexia, which adds further challenges for said World of Darkness fans wanting to delve into the setting. This is why the podcast for the last 3 years has existed on other platforms besides YouTube, beyond the simple logic that a larger net captures more fish. Podcast-related sites like Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, etc. generally have a more accessible interface. Buttons are easy to read, large and simple. There's no hidden keyboard button shortcut to skip 10 to 15 seconds of an episode, nor is the feature to adjust the playback speed hidden beneath a settings cog. When I say that the podcast has always been intended for all members of the community, I mean this wholeheartedly. When I started podcasting, I used a service called Whooshkaa, an Australian-based company that has since been acquired by Spotify and is now called Megaphone. Whooshkaa, like other hosting sites, Acast, Podbean, Anchor, etc., would distribute the podcast onto places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., etc. Think of it as a record label putting an artist's record on Apple Music or in a store, just with a fraction of the capitalism. Many podcasting platforms offer a free plan, for which I had with Whooshkaa. I've never had a lot of money and certainly did not have enough to reliably keep up a monthly plan of up to $30 a month approximate for the first tier of their paid plans. Most podcasting hosting sites are about $19 a month for their basic paid plan. Remember this because this will come up later again. Before the acquisition of Whooshkaa happened, Whooshkaa announced a change in its business plan. The important part of that is that its members using the free account were given 2 choices: upgrade their account or leave. As explained a few moments ago, I could not afford this. For reasons I am not prepared to go into, for a variety of disability-related reasons, I can only earn so much. Earning additional revenue from the podcast, be it directly from ads or running a Patreon or similar, would cause complications. The recent sponsorship from Angry Hamster Publishing is a different matter entirely. But I digress. I explained the basics of my situation to the Whooshkaa team, but it fell on deaf ears. I transferred my podcast over from it to Sounder, another podcasting hosting platform, which I had been using now for a good 2 years. Earlier this year, I had a similar encounter with Sounder. They noticed the podcast was statistically doing well enough to upgrade to one of their paid plans, which may have coincided with the removing of their free plan. Similar to Whooshkaa, I explained my situation, and they, much to my surprise, allowed me to keep my account as it was, making a note of that, he says, embracing his inner Jason Cole. This was a few months ago, and I thought/hoped that this would be the last of the podcasting problems. I was very wrong. It is the 1st of November 2022 as I write this, and the 2nd of November as I record it. On the 1st of November, I should be focusing on promoting an interview with Steffi Devan, promoting her new game, Which Fated Souls 2nd Edition, developed and published by Angry Hamster Publishing. Just before the special episode of the podcast airs, Sounder sends the following email. To all Sounder podcasters, when we first launched Sounder in 2019, we focused on ensuring audio creators of all sizes could grow their podcast listeners and revenues. After having hundreds of conversations with industry stakeholders, it's clear that accessing actionable data and insights required to make business decisions and transactions is a real challenge. So, as we announced last week, we're shifting our focus to solely build data solutions for audio. This means we've decided to shut down the Sounder hosting platform on January the 31st, 2023. All advertising solutions will stop operating a month earlier, December the 31st, 2022. The Sounder hosting platform will remain available for the next 90 days. After that, your audio content will start to be deleted on February the 1st, 2023. Therefore, you must migrate your content before February the 1st, 2023, or risk losing it. For all creators, please assess which new hosting platform you would like to transition your content to. Please be sure to migrate your content and redirect your RSS feed to this new platform by January the 31st, 2023. Please download all-time data export to safe, relevant metrics around your podcasts. Here is an article that explains how to do so, and then they give you a link to do that. If you're a creator using Sounder Plus, your subscription will be cancelled on Monday, November the 7th, 2022, and a prorated refund will be issued from that date. That said, you will still have access to your Sounder Plus account until January the 31st, 2023. Please check out our new FAQs to learn more about changes to your plan. If you're planning to launch a new show this month, you will be able to add and import new podcasts until November the 30th, 2022. And then it gives you links to press special promo codes you could use with a couple of sites. But obviously I can't use that for the reasons I just explained. Sounder was the last hope I had of being able to distribute the podcast freely with control over the material I uploaded outside of YouTube. Now this may all seem very melodramatic to you, but the accessibility of the podcast and Law by Night Productions, which I had for my one-shots and actual plays, has always been very important to me. No amount of asking the team is going to revert this decision, and next to no podcast hosting site has a free plan worth having for what I need it for. Such sites do not have a stable business plan, which I and many others have learnt the hard way. So to paraphrase the beginning of this email, which started with, "What does this mean to you?" As stated in the beginning, the Law by Night podcast and Law by Night Productions will soon disappear from your podcasting streaming service of your choice. If you listen to the podcast on YouTube, do not panic, because this does not apply to you. Everyone else will need to listen to the podcast on YouTube. I do not want money to fund the podcast. It is my gift to you, not the other way round, though I do have a Ko-fi page if you want to buy me a coffee. What I do want is for you to tell your friends this news so they don't miss out on the podcast. It is not fair for them to miss out due to reasons and things I cannot control. This has not been an easy episode to... This has not been very easy to write, and it's even more difficult to record. And I am deeply and truly sorry that this is the future of the podcasts, Law by Night and Law by Night Productions. Limited only to one place rather than many. It pains me that many won't listen to it on YouTube for their own personal and totally justifiable reasons. If you're one of those, I totally understand. I hope you can stick around because I do have lots of exciting things planned, both in terms of the usual content and actual play related stuff. But you've got 4 months of pre-recorded stuff on podcasting places, and then I'm just going to stop uploading things because there's just no fucking point. So it's just YouTube now. You've got a few months to move over. Well, until next time, farewell.